Hi, so we're going to see how this works because I've never done this before and I just came up with this idea. So a lot of my friends are sort of stressing out about what they're going to do with their kids over the next few days. I know the school systems are going to come up with things for the kids to do, but right now, at least for the next few days, we don't have that. So I'm an artist and an art teacher, and I teach Reggio Emilia inspired classes. So they're very creative, and kids get to you just give them supplies and they kind of take off. So I'm going to try to show you things that maybe you have around your house that you can use for the different projects. The first one I did with K through 3 the other day, and their projects were so cool. I was so excited actually because they were way more amazing than I had sort of thought they might come out. Because sometimes, you know, you're nervous, you're not sure if you've done a project before, how they'll come out. And so the first one is from this great book. It's called Play, Make, Create. And she's got awesome ideas. It's also Reggio Emilia inspired art from a woman, I think she's in LA. And so I thought maybe these videos would help people. So here's what I did. I bought little, this isn't one of them. They were a little larger than this, the bottom of a planter. And the kids, this was their base plate. And what they did from there, I didn't have any more of those, and I wanted to show you different things that you can use. So this is just a smaller version. It's a painted one I found in my garage from one of my kids. You can also use, this is just a lid from a plastic container. This is one from a Noosa yogurt container. This is a little bowl that I have no use for that I found. Little tins, whatever you have in your house you can use. And then you just need a little Play-Doh, which most people have anyway. If you don't have Play-Doh, it's really easy to make and it keeps the kids occupied for some time. So I just happen to have a little container from the other day. So what you do is you take, I'm gonna use this one. The kids take the Play-Doh and they just spread it out along their lid or whatever their plate is. And this is an activity in this book. It was done a little bit differently. It was done with the planter. But, so then you have your Play-Doh along here, and that way kids can create in it, and you ask them to create their own little world. So some kids created kind of like fairy house worlds, and all you need, these are ends from some old lavender I had. I was just looking for it, and it sticks straight up in the Play-Doh. They can some kids made like a little banner and use things like this to stand them up. I did give them little animals, but I mean, everybody has these in their house from birthday parties and stuff, unless you really get rid of everything. Let's see, I even used, my kids had this little fishing game, had the fish that open and close, and they spin around, but they broke all the poles to it, so none of them worked, so I kept all those. I have some little rocks. These are bought ones, so they're all white, but you can just get them outside, and they can use these. They can use pine cones. Now the pine cones are too big, but the kids had the idea to break off the pieces of the pine cones, and they used them for roofs of buildings, and they can make buildings with things like with the lid here, and you could take a glue gun and glue all these. If you don't have a glue gun, most people have white glue in their house. That'll work for most things, and honestly the kids won't care. You can use tape if you have some fun tape. They'll just use whatever you give them. Pipe cleaners, even pieces of pipe cleaners, like that's just a small piece. This is the top two. I think it was some strawberries or tomatoes, and the kids will come up with uses for all of these things. You don't need to have a plan. I had some bark, and I gave them pieces of bark, and they used, I don't know, little walls and such. I mean, they really came up with some awesome ideas. And what else could you put out for them? If you have any sequins, or some beads. I even gave them, this is just like bubble wrap. This one's from an old pool cover, but it's the same thing as regular bubble wrap, it's just blue. This is just from some mailings from Amazon boxes or whatever you order online. If you do have some craft supplies, like this is the sticky foam paper. This is from an old stroller that was broken, piece of foam that we replaced. So this can be cut, used for buildings, used for people. My family loves Noosa, so the yogurt lids come in handy. I have some old Metro cards from when I lived in New York, and so they can cut them up, make them into things. Pieces of wood. I have a whole tray, so all you need to do is get out a tray. And if you have in your garage like an old keyboard that you were going to throw away, take the keys off. They'll use those. This is just a little tape roll. Really anything. This is a Play-Doh lid. Foil. You can just rip off some foil and give it to them. And my son will create things out of the foil all the time. Let's see. Shells, random beads that you have. Oh, buttons are a great one. Extra buttons from a sweater. I've got another pine cone here. Really, I keep a box because I have a studio. I probably keep way more than most people. But I have this huge bin, and it's just full of my kids' broken toys and other random stuff like our coffee bag. We buy bulk coffee, and so I use it because it's shiny. The kids really like the shine. And just random things from old toys. And even plastic containers, sometimes they'll use them for things. They just open them. So this is a great little activity, and your kids will come out way better than this, I promise. And any young kids or even older kids that really like doing things. And you know what else is really great? If your kid has ever gotten those monthly mailings, like if a grandparent or anybody got the kids the monthly mailings. My daughter had a travel one, so they sent her all these little pieces, like an Eiffel Tower and different places around the world, little models of things. Those are perfect for this because they just end up sitting in the kids' room. So they'll be psyched to have like a purpose for them. So anyway, I hope this helps you and that everyone has an okay time at home. We've actually been having a really great time at home because I've kind of kept my kids busy, and I told them we're gonna do school at home, and I make a list every morning, and so they've been super psyched about it. So I hope you can keep yourself busy too, and let me know if this was helpful, because I can do something like this every day, and maybe the day before you do it, so you can kind of plan ideas. And sometimes maybe I'll show you what my kids have done, but I thought it would be nice to kind of tell you about what you can use for these creations. And this is a great book. So if you're stuck at home and you want to go on Amazon, some of these you need supplies for. Other things are just around the house, but you can always replace supplies, for different ideas. So, yeah, take care. Bye.